Okay, let's get to some news. Listen.
Oh my gosh.
I think we're going to stick to a lot of next gen news because that is really the talk of the week. Because
that's the talk of the town.
The Xbox
news.
Series X and the PS5 got their big review embargoes dropped this week. So just the gist of the reviews. I'm not going to go super deep because you should go read reviews, of the consoles if you're interested in them.
Yeah.
Both of them are good. Big fucking shocker there. Both of them do backwards compatibility very well. Funnily enough, the PS5 seems to handle backwards compatibility a bit better than expected, and in some cases better than the Xbox, because it keeps the resolution of PS4 Pro games. But like I said earlier, any games with unlocked frame rates can just push up to a new limit of 60. So because the resolution is kept the same, it rarely hits that 60 and does not move. Whereas a lot of Xbox backwards compatibility games do things like auto HDR and in some cases upscaling them to 4K, which inadvertently affects the frame rate every now and then on those games. So bit of a weird toss-up there on what you prioritize. I would always prioritize frame rate, so I'm very happy to hear that the PS5 does it well.
PS5 is just doing
Sekiro
some stuff.
at 60 frames per second sounds mighty juicy to me.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I mean, both consoles real good. There was some Sony stuff that I was raising my eyebrow at yesterday. The biggest of which is the fact that you cannot, in any way, store PS5 games on an external hard drive. So before everyone jumps down my throat, I'm not saying you cannot play PS5 games off an external. That was never on the table. Xbox can't do that either for Series X games. But on Xbox, you can store Series X games on an external and then transfer it back to the internal SSD when you want to play it. You cannot do that on the PlayStation.
Which is just...
It's just PS4 games. You can run the PS4 games off the external and lose the benefit of the fast SSD loading. Fine. But, the PlayStation itself... The PlayStation 5 only has 667 gigabytes of usable storage on the internal drive. So that's all you have for PS5 games. And they have not certified any SSDs for internal storage expansion. Yeah. So you cannot expand on that storage until Sony decides that that there's a commercial SSD that they deem okay. And then on top of that, that is the only way to expand your storage as of now. You cannot be I don't want to buy a $220 1 terabyte SSD because that's what they cost. I will instead buy a external SSD and just cold store games on there. You don't have that option. I
can't do that. Yeah.
I find this really shit for them to kind of only disclose a few days before launch. I cannot believe that this happened. To be honest.
Well, so what I was saying to you, and I mean, again, I'm not Sony. I'm not a tech expert. But surely this is something that could be rectified further along the line.
I have to imagine it will be, yeah.
I mean, the PS5 has USB ports, right? It's there. Surely at some stage they'll be this is an oversight we didn't account for. Maybe it would be good to let players store, cold store games on an external. And if they want to play them, they just can't play it off the external. They have to launch it, store it on the SSD. That has to be something they do. But like you said, at this stage, it's incredibly shit of them to be hey, the PS5, great SSD, by the way, you can't.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel they have to sort it out fast, I think, as well. Because you install Call of Duty and Destiny on there, you've used half your SSD. That's fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry.
That's insane.
If you install... If you install Demon's Souls and Spider-Man and Call of Duty and Destiny, you've basically topped it out.
How much usable space did you say there is?
667 gigabytes.
But now, how? Because the solid-state drive is 825 gigs.
So
how big is that OS?
Yeah. So this is where it gets weird. So the Xbox Series X launches with a 1 terabyte drive, right? Yeah. And only 802 gigabytes of that is usable because of the OS and because of the additional space that Microsoft caches off for quick resume. Because when you're doing quick resume, you're basically copying game data from RAM onto the SSD. So it needs to have that space available. So you lose 20% of your hard drive.
Yeah.
So in that respect, the PS5, in terms of like percentage of usability versus the total, the PS5 is more efficient in that manner, but it also ships with only 825 gigabytes. So, I mean, you're essentially getting very close to like a 500 gigabyte console, and you don't have the ability to cold store games. Whereas on the Xbox, yes, you only have 800, but you can cold store games.
You can cold store games.
Like, you have that option. So, and on top of it, if you don't want to cold store games on the Xbox, you have today the ability to buy SSD expansion.
Yeah.
So Microsoft, in this respect, has really just covered all of their bases, where Sony has really done nothing to mitigate the fact that SSDs aren't ready for their console. Like, if you could cold store games on PS5, this would be a non-issue. That you can't expand the SSD storage until SSDs arrive that they think are good enough. But the fact that you can't makes this way more annoying.
That's ridiculous. Well, look. So what I've been telling you is that I 100% agree that it's like a bullshit thing for Sony to do. It's a weird oversight. Like, I don't know why you can't do it. But at this stage in the generation, where games, like the biggest reference point is Call of Duty or Red Dead Redemption, which is like 150 gigs, let's say, maybe 200. I don't know. Like they're pushing stupidly big numbers. You could still store at least 3 of them on the Sony console, which I get it. It's ridiculous. But me personally, I'm not playing more than 3 games at any given time. And my internet's fast enough that I can download something relatively quick, you know? But again, not to take away from, like, I don't know why the option doesn't exist. But I think that...
I get that. Like, I get that people's internet is fast and whatever. But it's not as fast as, like, transferring a Series X game from an external drive to the internal drive.
Not at all. Yeah, no, I'll never argue that. But what I'm getting at is that it's like, for me, in my scenario and how I perceive and play games, it's a non-issue now.
Yeah.
However,
I agree.
In 3 or 4 years, when games are all 200 plus gigs, maybe because they're pushing out 4K textures and like, I mean, think about games that launched at the beginning of the generation. They weren't, I don't think they were like 40, 50, 60, 70 gigs. Like, I could be wrong. They're maybe 20.
No, they were nowhere what we have now. No.
Now today, like, games are big. So in the years that follow, they will keep getting bigger. That's just how it's going. So yeah, 600 and something gigs is going to seem real little.
I do feel like it's something they need to address within the next 6 months. Like, it has to, something has to change. Because I think now, even if you just take the Sony exclusives, and you take all of those that are coming out with the PS5, I don't think you can fit all of them on the PS5, which is to me is where it's like Sony really bungled this in some weird way. Yeah, and I'm not saying everyone is going to buy every exclusive that launches, but like the fact that it can't even fit its launch exclusives like on the console, without having to uninstall games is, I don't know, it's weird. There's a lot of things on the PS5 that feel a bit half baked from a technical perspective. Like, you don't have this, according to John Linneman from Digital Foundry. VRR, which is a variable refresh rate, isn't supported yet, which blows my mind because it's an HDMI 2.1 standard. So I feel like that will definitely come online very soon. I don't know why it's not supported yet.
That's weird.
So, just little things like that. Like, VRR is going to be far less of a concern for the majority of people because it requires a brand new TV to support. So, I get that maybe that's not a priority for them, but like, as someone who has a TV that supports it, that's a real bummer for me because I'm like, well, it's like buying a PC that can do G-Sync and having a monitor that can do G-Sync and then being told, oh no, wait, your card has to wait for an update for G-Sync to be enabled. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I just spent money to get this all working and now it's not working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So little things like
Weird.
that are just real annoying. But other than that, PS5 sounds cool. Astro's Playroom getting really good reviews. That I really can't wait to try out that DualSense because I think that controller looks awesome. Miles Morales getting really good reviews.
Yep.
No, apparently media doesn't have Demon Souls yet, so curious to see when that arrives.
You died.
Yeah, you died. So yeah, let's see what else. Take-Two is apparently in talks to buy Codemasters, Vroom Vroom Racing People, which I'm conflicted by because, like, on the one hand, Codemasters getting all the good financial stability from Take-Two is great. But if I look at the way Take-Two handles all its sports franchises, like NBA 2K and stuff like that,
oh no,
really garbage.
you're going to get some nice microtransactions in your Vroom Vroom games now.
And I really like Formula One, and I really don't want to go that way because Codemasters makes Formula One.
Codemasters does the Formula One games. How do you feel knowing who's your favorite driver?
What in Formula One?
Yeah, like if you had to pick one, or your favorite team rather.
I'd say right now I really like watching Max Verstappen. So yeah,
I imagine
he's in a loot box.
Formula One 2022, whatever. He's in a loot box. You don't get to play the dude. You got to buy these packs and hope for the epic drop.
I'll be
or whatever.
so sad, man. You see, it just depresses me thinking about it. But yeah, that isn't confirmed. It's just like talk,
speculation.
Yeah. The Medium, Bloober Team's
being delayed.
dual world horror game, got delayed because of COVID-19 and also because, hey, Cyberpunk 2077 got moved to December when the Medium was meant to launch, and they were like, fuck that.
They're like,
we are not competing with that.
We're not doing this. This game looks really interesting though.
Yeah, I'm keen to give it a go.
I mean, it's like, yeah.
So it's coming out 28th of January now.
Yeah, it's not so bad. It's
not too bad. It's literally like we are getting out of the way of Cyberpunk. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order joins EA Play on Xbox Series X launch day, which means it's on Game Pass because on console, because EA Play is being folded into Game Pass on console. It will come to PC. I think they said later in 2021. I really like Fallen Order. I think it's a really good
Star Wars game. I enjoy it.
And I think with the on the Series X, if you pop that game into performance mode, you'll have it in 60 frames per second, which is 100% the way to play.
Oh boy.
Because I played this game on PS4 and I liked it, but that 30 frames really didn't do the combat justice, and you played it on PC.
Oh my gosh, let me tell you, I also started on PS4, and those load times, forget the frames.
Load times.
Forget the frames. The load times on PlayStation were awful.
I mean, they were like that on, I guess, Xbox One as well, but now with the Series X SSD, man. I actually picked it up on special on PC on the Epic Game Store a while back and just played a bit, and it was like a transformative experience.
It's a completely better experience.
The load times,
like
the fluidity of the combat, just night and day difference. Really. But
it's a good time.
Really good game.
It's a good game. I'm really excited to see where they take that story as well.
Control's Ultimate Edition, which is like its next-gen version that you have to buy. It's been delayed to 2021 on Xbox Series X and PS5, which is a real bummer because I was playing more Control recently because I was testing out a RTX 3080, and man, that game is so good. Like,
Control is
so good and beautiful.
Good
Holy shit!
Have you played the Alan Wake DLC yet?
Not yet. I've bought it. I need to play it. You know what's annoying is that so because we had it on a shared like Epic Games account. And I wasn't sure how DLC was going to be affected there. So I just rebought the entire thing on my personal account when it was on special. But it didn't bring my save over.
Oh, no.
So I can't play the DLC because I have no save.
Oh, my gosh. You
need to play Control again. It's like, oh, man, I have to play this really good game again. Damn
it. Life's hard, but I just didn't have the time for everything.
Yeah, Control.
I really loved Control. What a game.
Yeah, really, really love Control. I think if you've held out waiting for this next-gen version with ray tracing, you're going to be in for a treat because, man, it is gorgeous. It's such a game.
Look, I can't say I've played I've got a machine that can handle ray tracing. I can't say I've played many games that do ray tracing. Control's one of them though, and I'm like, this game, this to me is a showcase of why ray tracing is something to look forward to and be excited about. Like, 100%. If this is what games look like now, wait till developers really start taking advantage of, what it can bring to gaming.
And I think, I'm not going to get into it now because it's a big conversation, but ray tracing is more than reflections, and Control shows that. Because, like, yes, you have these really good reflections on glass and stuff like that, but you also have, you're in, like, an office setting a lot, and there's lots of, like, meeting rooms with walls of glass. And the thing that ray tracing does is you can see faint reflections in the glass, but also the glass is see-through. It's like permeable. Yeah. So that cannot be done with rasterization. And that really gives... I mean, Spider-Man Miles Morales does this with its buildings. Yeah. And that's going to be a transformative thing as well, because just seeing that, it's how glass works in real life. So when you see it, you're like, oh God, okay, cool. This is like what...
It just gives games that extra edge in realism.
Yeah, that real sheen. It's really... And it's not something you need to... It's not something you need to, like, look closely for. Like, immediately when you see it, you'll be like, this looks really good. And when you turn it off, you'll be like, oh.
I was just going to say, my thing is, what really made it stand out for me is when I had to turn it off. Because I was streamed a bit of Control, and I obviously couldn't stream with RTX on. I put it off, and I was like, like, it's the game's still nice looking, but it's a very different looking game,
Yeah. Also, Control, I mean, this doesn't make a difference for consoles right now, but it got updated on PC to use DLSS 2.0. So the DLSS implementation is proper good. Like, you can run that game with DLSS performance mode, and the image is super sharp, and you get many more frames. Like... So yeah, what a game. What a game. What else? Warframe is getting Xbox Series X and S and PS5 enhancements this coming week. Same is happening for Star Wars Squadrons. This one's a bit weird. So Star Wars Squadrons is getting 120 FPS mode on Xbox Series X at 4K and Xbox Series S at 1440p, which is quite impressive. But not on PS5. So PS5 is getting the bump up to 4K and 60 frames, but not the 120 FPS mode. And now that I see that it's not, like, the PlayStation's not supporting VRR, I wonder if there's something on the PS5 spec right now that will obviously be patched that is not playing nicely with 120 frames. So, because that's the only thing I can think of. I don't think that the PS5 can't handle Squadrons at 120 frames per second if even the Series S is doing it. So
there's some
there must be something specific to the console there that EA is like, okay, we'll wait, So don't know what that is about.
Star Wars Squadrons, still a game I want to play one day.
Nintendo is still making loads of money. Their profits are up 200%. The Switch has now sold more consoles than the NES.
This is wild.
And Animal Crossing has sold 26 million copies. It is only below Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
That for me is the one that really blew my mind, because we all know, like, Animal Crossing, great game. We all know that. But the fact that it came out during lockdown, during, like, the pandemic, which saw a lot of countries go into lockdowns, whatever, it came out at the right time, which means it was picked up by a lot of people. However, I did not expect it to be picked up by, like, 20 plus million people.
Yeah.
I really thought the game would be at like 15 million, maybe like 17, 18 if I'm being optimistic. But shit, what you said the number, it's what?
26.8 million.
Which is just insane.
Let me just double check. Yeah. Like, 26 million, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is only on 29 million, and that's the top selling game on Switch right now. And that came out at launch.
Just for comparison's sake, like God of War, let's say, but like stellar PlayStation
I think
exclusive.
That's like 12.
It's like 12 million. Animal Crossing is more than double that.
Yeah. I mean, Animal Crossing is 7 million copies more than Pokemon.
And Pokemon, that itself is telling, because Pokemon is like ridiculous. The game that sells the most.
It's also double the sales of Animal Crossing New Leaf, which was on the 3DS.
And the
like,
3DS had a large install base. Like, it's
Yeah,
not that
the
was a problem. So
the Switch is now the second best-selling console in Nintendo history. It's only behind the obvious
Wii.
ridiculous success of the Nintendo Wii.
I think it's going to smash the Wii.
It sold how many? 68.3 million consoles already, which is absurd.
It's just
Um,
Nintendo making a lot of cash mullahs.
yeah, the year-on-year profit is up 209% from 2.8 billion to 7.4 billion dollars. Unbelievable. So this year really has just been like a godsend for Nintendo.
For them, yeah.
You know, and by their own making, they deserve it because I think the Switch is a phenomenal console, and I really like their games. So yeah,
It's a good time.
happy for them.
Bam.
Any other big news? I'm just checking out. Demon Souls has like 180 game help videos as part of the PlayStation's UI help videos, which is pretty cool.
That's quite cool.
I hope this is indicative of that feature being used in the future. Like, that's pretty cool. Today's Saturday, so by the time you're listening to this probably would have happened, but there's like tons and tons of evidence that the Mass Effect trilogy remaster is being announced today. So pretty sure that's happening. I don't know for certain, but I'm almost certain by the time you're listening to this, it would have happened.
So one day I should play them. Is that what you're telling me?
They're so good. Yeah, you should. Oh my god, they're so good. So good. Can't wait to play them more.
I don't know. Is there any other news worth covering?
I think that's about it. That's all the big things. Did we talk about this last week? I think we did. The PS5 requiring PS4 versions of games for PSVR.
I think we touched on it. I could be wrong.
So if we didn't, another weird thing is like, yes, the PSVR works with PS5, but it will only work with PS4 games. So like, even though Hitman 3 was advertised on a PS5 stream, the PS5 version of Hitman 3 will not work with PSVR. You need the PS4 version, which makes that distinction a bit weird. And I don't have a PS5 yet, but Giant Bomb's Jeff Gertzman was out on Twitter saying the way the PS4 groups and distinguishes between demos and trials and PS4 games and PS5 games is the messiest thing he's ever seen in a console. So I don't know what he means. So, yeah.
Who knows?
We'll see.
We'll see.
We shall see. I think that's it.
That's it.
That is it. Oh, Spider-Man's getting a cool new suit that looks like it's another in Spider-Man Remastered. You've got another one of those like cell shaded ones. It's called the Arachnid. What's it called?
Is this in the PS4 one?
Well, no, it's in Spider-Man Remastered.
Spider-Man.
So it's the PS5 version.
Spider-Man.
What is it? Where is it now? I want to see it. I don't know. Just search new costume. It looks really good. It's like another cell shaded, ridiculous.
Spider-Man Remastered.
Arachnid something.
Let's find this quickly. Top stories. Oh, Spider-Man Remastered have new costumes. Let's see. Is it my page is just loading. Is it the white one?
No.
What?
Oh, Arachnid Rider. That's what it's called.
Arachnid Rider.
Look, I'll send you the tweet. It's so good.
Man, Arachnid.
It's so good.
Just send me the Arachnid Rider. I'm sure I'm looking at the right one. Let's see. Let me pull this open. Oh, are there two?
Yeah. It's that red one.
Okay, so I was looking at the white one.
Look how good that is.
Oh, for goodness sake.
It's so good. So good.
Why is it doing this to me? Hang on, I'm trying to open this link. There we go. There it is. Okay, we can finally see it. Okay, that's really nice. Good lord. So good. Yeah, I see. It's like the whole cel-shaded vibe.
Yeah, it's like that comic, which was my favorite one in Spider-Man PS4. Except in cutscenes, because it looked super weird that Spider-Man was all cel-shaded and everyone else was not.
What's going on?